Hey, good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Prices of BTC currently at 86.26. I'm going to do a quick Bitcoin analysis, all right? And also today I'm going to talk about the emotional approach and how you should approach the trading environment, okay? All right, so let's get to the price first, okay? So I've been stating in my community as well as on these videos, right? I see a lot of absorption happening in this area right here, whether it's the order flow or whether you just look at price, okay? So if we sort of ignore the whole meme that order flow, the keyword, has become on crypto Twitter, okay? We can just look at the price, all right? We could say, okay, what is happening to the price and why does this, to me, look like absorption? Okay, let's look at it this way. All right. Prices spent time from this bottom of the range right here, around 85.93, to the top range around, let's just say $8,800. Okay, for the last, uh, since the 11th, today's the 15th. So it's been 4 days, right? So basically, since the beginning of the week, prices essentially spent a lot of time in this range right here, right? And every time price comes out of this range right here, right, it gets pushed back up. Okay. Again, over here, gets pushed back up, back into the range. Again, over here, price broke down under it, gets pushed back up into the range. Okay. So you're asking and probably wondering, okay, what does that mean? All right. So the reason price spends a lot more time in this range, and when you see breakdowns like this right here, or right here, okay, these are the deviations in the price, okay? So really what's happening is someone is doing whatever it takes to collect all the longs in the market, okay? And the way you do that is a couple of different ways. First things first, all right? You spend time up here for price and people are probably aggressively shorting, right? So if people are shorting, remember, perpetuals are up all about one-to-one positions, meaning for every long, there's a short on the other side and vice versa. So if there's a lot of people shorting right here, right, that means someone is also longing on the other end. If someone is shorting right here as well, someone is longing on the other end. If someone is shorting here and here and here, again, someone is I'm sorry, did I say shorting? Okay. If someone is shorting on this whole movement right here, that means someone is longing on the other end. So why is someone longing on the other end? Okay. If I were a whale, right? Let's think from the whale's perspective, or someone, who's actually a professional in this market. Okay. And I want to drive up the price. All right. What would I need to do in order to drive up the price and make the maximum amount of profit? Well, I would collect as many longs out there as possible and position the shorts in such a way that you're basically, shorting the bottom. So any push up in price would start squeezing you out of your position. Okay. So what's really happening in this movement right here is price is slowly grinding down to each support level. And there's someone probably just sitting there with passive orders, meaning that they're just limit orders that flash and absorb all the sell orders that come in. Okay. And someone is just collecting and collecting and collecting. Okay. And the reason I look at this and I can say that's happening is because typically, all right, when you're sort of breaking critical support levels, all right, so if we look at this 1 hour, or you're grinding into support levels, right? Kind of like this area right here, you can see we just tapped above that green box right there, right? Which is a support, 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 multiple times support was hit, right? So you'd figure that, okay, this should break down hard at some point. But notice that that's not happening. Okay, what price is really doing is it's spending a lot of time in this area right here. Okay, so someone is aggressively buying this whole thing, right? And if I were to turn on my crystal ball at some point, right, and I'd say, okay, so why is someone buying this area? Well, their intention is to probably buy in this area right here, okay? And then ultimately, as the weekend comes along and volume is low, their intention is to drive up the prices, okay? Now, what is another reason why you drive up the prices, and why do you sort of grind down in this area right here? Why do you grind the price down into this area? Well, think about it like this, all right? You and I are all looking at this area, Okay, we see this chart and we say, okay, price is hitting critical support right here. Okay, price is literally sitting there in this green box for multiple days. At some point, this green box has to break, right? It has to, okay? But why isn't it breaking? All right, well, because there's someone sitting in this area and seeing that, okay, there's a decent amount of support right here. There was definitely a lot of liquidity trapped under this area, which also got absorbed by this wick right here over the last couple of hours, right? So all the stuff is sitting in a long position, okay? And this long position, probably over the weekend, what it's going to do is all these people who are shorting here and here and here, they're going to get pushed out of their position as price grinds up. And so what does that mean? Then that means price is going to accelerate up really fast, okay? That then causes a short squeeze. And then all the big player who's collected the longs all in this area, or maybe even all over here, okay, they get to profit as the price pushes up and up, okay? And they get to profit massively because remember, they've been collecting for days. And all the shorts who have basically been trapped over here and over here are trapped in their position, right? And they can't do anything because price has already started to move up. And sometimes price, as you guys have seen, moves up really aggressively, kind of like this, okay? So what I'm saying is I think the short squeeze may be coming soon, all right? I just don't know if we have to go down first and then push up, or do we just kind of pull back over here and then just rock it off, okay? So what I'm looking for right now, I'll tell you this, all right? What I'm looking for right now is some healthy pullbacks. If I want to go long, right, I'm making sure that this low right here in this area doesn't get broken. And you're probably wondering, okay, why is it that low? Well, remember that this was the last little key area before the market pushed up and caused that short squeeze, okay? So more than likely, you want market to come back close to that area, but not really break it like down here, all right? So you want it to come back to this area at the very least right here, so around 85.50, 85.75, and then push back up. If it comes back over here, even this this trading range right here, the bottom one, 85.93, and then pushes up, that's also fine, okay? Then I'd be looking for longs. For now, I'm not looking for anything. I'm just waiting and seeing what this market has to show. Now remember, I could totally be wrong, and this whole, sort of absorption theory that I have, it's honestly not really a theory. I kind of should give it more credit because in all honesty, I've seen markets like this for years, folks. And I know for the most part, when it comes to markets that grind like this, right, are on support, and when the volume analysis shows you that there's very little volume, coming into this area, right, kind of like this right here, someone is just sitting there and buying. Okay, so I can say that actually with higher confidence. It's not really a theory. Okay, so I can say that with higher confidence that there is some absorption going on. But let's just say I'm wrong. Okay, so where am I wrong? All right, I'm wrong if price then takes out this high right here. Okay, or I'm sorry, I'm wrong when price starts to take out this low right here. Okay, this low is around, let's just say 84.75. Price actually should not break down here again. Okay, for the most part, what price should be doing is it needs to pull back at the very deepest right here around 85.50 and then push back up. Okay, like I showed you earlier. All right, so that's what we're looking for. Okay, and then on the 4 hour, I mean, as you can see, we had an inverted hammer right there. A nice, decent sized bullish candle, but obviously that was met by a lot of selling right there. So if the next couple of 4 hour candles look a little bit better and we can start closing, let's just say above the closing of these candles right here. So I would be looking for 86.40. I need a 4 hour to close above that, okay, at the very least. Or if I see a 1 hour, full 1 hour open and close above 86.40, then I would be more inclined to go long, okay? But for now, what I'm really doing is just waiting to see what the market is trying to do, all right? And as per the daily chart, again, right, I mean, price is still in this sort of wedge. And unless it breaks to the downside out of this wedge, it's really hard to say that, with the weekend approaching, why can't price just push back up a little bit and then come down again? Okay. Remember, just because I say price is going to potentially push back up doesn't mean I'm bullish right away. It just means that I'm seeing something in the market that most people are reluctant to accept, which is that we are aggressively oversold probably, right? This is not the RSI. Let me see the RSI. Let's see where the RSI is, okay? So the 4 hours curling up. Where's the Stoke RSI? Okay, maybe I don't have the Stoke on here. Anyway, for the most part, I remember seeing the Stoke was actually bottomed. Let me pull that up real quick, okay? I'm going to turn this off. I mean, MACD is already turning, bearish, or has turned bearish, right? This is the OBV. Let me turn this off. The volatility off right here, okay? I'm going to turn on the Stoke RSI. Okay, so the Stoke RSI, as you can see, it's really hard to see on this. Let me make this a different color, okay? And now let's make this one yellow. All right, so the Stoke RSI on the 4 hour, as you can see, has already bottomed, right? So what that tells me is, as per the Stoke, there's more room to go on the 4 hour. Okay, so that's a positive sign if you are willing to long this market, right? So that tells me that, okay, price could potentially move back up at some point. Okay, so if we're taking it like this, right? If we're saying that, okay, Stoke RSI is bottom in the 4 hour, right? At some point, if it corrects down here to my level that I stated that I was looking for, around 85.50 or 85.75, then I would expect a push back up, okay? But if I'm wrong, and price starts breaking this area around 85.50 and you start seeing 1 hour candles close under that, then we're probably going to take out that low, and then you can say that, you know what, I'm going to place my stop up here and ride this trade down to the next big support level. Let's see where that is. That's that target profit right there, around $8,300. Okay, so that's what I would do. All right. So now you know a couple different ways to look at this. All right. Next thing I want to talk about, folks, is, people mention, how do you sort of de-stress from this market? What is your approach in this market? And, how do you not let your life suffer or the time that you spend in the crypto markets? Okay. So I want to tell you two things. All right. If you're trading properly, with setting stop losses, with understanding a game plan of where to take profit, where to enter, where to get out if the situation goes bad, right? You technically should not be spending that much time in the markets, okay? Your positions should be set. You might do maybe a couple hours research here and there a day, and then you take your position and then you let the market do the rest. If you are more tense, more stressed emotionally, because you are too heavy in positions, or your stop loss is too far, or you don't know why you entered a trade, well, that is something you're going to have to fix. All right. So one thing that I do for myself is I change my approach right from the get-go in the morning. Okay. I've stated this to my community multiple times. I never look at the market first thing in the morning. The first couple things I do in the morning is, honestly, just talk about how grateful I am to be alive for another day, right? How happy you are to have a great partner, or have kids, have a family, have a good job, or, have a good home, live in a good country, have food to eat, have a healthy body, etc., right? That kind of puts the day into perspective of life is not all about trading, and it's not all about crypto, okay? Number two, the next best approach is do something in the morning that makes you feel good for the day, whether it's drinking a cup of coffee, going for a walk, going to the gym, doing some yoga, doing some meditation. All right. So those are the next couple things. All right. Next thing you can do is you can write down a journal for the day, whether you want to write down your goals, you want to write down how you're feeling, etc. Okay, that's solely up to you how you want to go about the approach for your day. Now when it comes to trading and looking at the markets, right, start mapping out different levels from smaller and higher time frames into different trading range, looking at moving averages, whatever works for you. In my community, I have my own style. People like my style. They see my style every day, and they see my analysis that I put out every single day with multiple videos through the day. So they know my style, and they, see benefit in it. Okay, they see the usefulness in it. They see the information in it, right? After that, I want you guys to start documenting your trades. Okay, keep a journal. Here are 2 trades that I wanted to show you guys that I documented. Okay, so this was a short trade. I mapped out my entry, my target exit, and my actual exit, and then I write down my reason for entry. Okay, I always write down my reason for entry. Impulsive trade, did not wait for confirmation, right? So this was clearly an impulsive entry, and I write down my reason for exit too. Okay, and then if it's a loss or a win, I always write down what the lesson was from that trade. Okay, obviously you can see right here, this trade was carried out by greed and emotion, right? There was no technical or statistical reasoning for this trade. The first sign of break even, I should have closed the trade, but I did not. Lesson learned, right? So I will also have losses like this, okay? And you're going to see many on your end too, okay? Here's a proof of that loss. Here's my close position of that loss, right? And so then you can also write down your winners, right? Here's the winner, okay? Here's a long trade that I took. Entry 83.30, exit 84.50. Reason for entry, reason for exit, and what's the lesson learned? It was an easy trade. I took it with patience, watched the market patiently, and let the trade come to me, right? Easy trade, okay? So you're going to have to make a journal entry for yourself like this if you are ever going to be a successful trader. Why? Because you have as much to learn from your winners as you do from your losers. Okay, you also have to have a system in place for you to understand why you're entering a trade, where you're trying to exit, where your stop is, what's your reason for entry? Is there even any fundamental or technical basis for you to enter the trade, right? If you're willy-nilly entering trades, right, chances are you're going to get destroyed in the market, okay? So in my community, for the most part, I at least state a plan for entries and exits, all right? Even over here, like I showed you, right, there was a plan right here put in place that I stated that I'm going to enter a trade on the break of this. Why did I enter a short trade at the break of this? Well, because this is a key level, right? This is a key level, and for the most part, I saw that, okay, if this breaks and if this gets taken out, chances are the market is going much further. But then where is my risk? My risk is right here, right? The initial point of breakdown, okay, with this big candle. So I stated that my risk is around $8,600 where my stop is, right? And my target will be way down here around 8,300. So that's a pretty good risk to reward ratio trade. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out as I wanted to. The market actually took me out of my position, stopped me out, went much higher, right? And now it's coming back to that same point. So I'm thinking, okay, well, market took me out. My overall thesis for this whole movement right here, I told you guys, was that I see a potential absorption going on, right? And I still think the market is going to tick up higher before it dumps lower. And so you can see right here in my entry right here for my trade, I stated that my account risk for this trade is still less than 1%. There is still some unusual order activity that look like absorption, and I don't want to go heavier into the short due to that. So you can see while I took that trade right here, it wasn't a heavy trade because I still knew that the bigger picture was still telling me a different story, right? But I took this trade because what if I'm wrong right here? What if this whole thing is not absorption? It looks like distribution and a key low was taken out. So I said, all right, whatever. You know what? I'll take the trade. If I get stopped out, I get stopped out. And that's exactly what happened, right? That's really all that trading is, folks. You have to look at the smaller pictures at play on different time frames and say, you know what? I think this trade is worth taking because key levels were taken out. Even though this looks like absorption, could I be wrong? Yeah, of course. Market could have easily dumped lower, right? But it didn't. Market actually ticked up higher, took out some stops up here, and chances are it could go even higher later through the day or through the weekend. Okay, but the point is that the trading markets, whether it's crypto and forex and the equities or commodities markets, it's all about defining a risk to reward ratio and understanding exactly what your risk is and what your reward is for a trade. Okay, and I don't really want to look at it like the casino, but that's really what it comes down to, right? If the odds are in your favor for one side of the position, okay, or if you know that the odds are in your favor to win, why would you not take that trade, right? So I took that trade, had a stop, and said, you know what, I got stopped out, whatever. That's okay. I took a chance on something that knew for the most part made sense in terms of my technicals. Okay. So the point of this, sort of spiel is that understanding the markets from a smaller time frame perspective and a larger time frame perspective is very important. Okay. And if you're not understanding that, and if you're not understanding the bigger picture at play of what's happening in the markets, chances are you're going to miss out and lose out on this market. Okay. So if you don't understand this stuff and you don't understand how I'm sort of explaining absorption versus distribution and how I knew to take a trade here and place a stop up here, or how I think market is going to potentially pull down and then push back up, come join the Cryptosomniac Advantage community, right? Hit the products page right there. Buy the technical analysis course, folks. If you buy this course right here, you will get 7 free days and all the lock channels that you see. That's the Advantage membership. The only free channels are community discussion right here. And I think that's pretty much it. Okay, there's suggestions box, but that's just suggestions, right? All the useful information is in Trader Talk, which is our Advantage membership. Leverage trading channels right there. Okay. And then obviously I have Bitcoin analysis. The video that you see right now is a video that my Advantage members get as well, but they get multiple updates through the day, and they get a video at the end of the day as well. Okay, so you can clearly see that there's a lot of information and calls that I put out to my community, and I let people know exactly what I'm looking for in this market. Okay. What my trades are, what my stops are, exactly what I'm thinking about doing, pretty much every hour of the day that I feel like taking a trade or market looks good or bad to me. Okay. So if you want that kind of attention and you want that kind of, support or information, this is the community for you. All right. Check out what the market is doing. Okay. I wanted to show you guys this. So here's where the market should be stopping. All right, in this particular area, it should start reversing right here because there's a lot of stops residing right underneath right here. Okay, so remember I stated this area right here, right? The market should not be dumping lower than that, meaning that it should not close lower than that. And if it does, I better see the next candle get a nice bounce out of it. Okay, as you can see, someone is already buying this up. You can see it's pushing up. All right, see, it's pushing up again. So this is a potential reversal right here that's happening as you're watching this video, okay? Now, if the market turns around on the next candle or the next few candles, that's a potential long opportunity, but it's not a long opportunity until the market, completely crosses above this particular area right here. This is really the big safety net for the bears to hold down their position, okay? If this gets broken, the bears know that they're kind of screwed because the market will then again push up towards $8,700, $8,800. All right. So now it's really the time to be a bit more careful. Okay. All right, folks. I think that's pretty much it. For the most part, I told you guys long and short scenarios. I told y'all exactly where, I see the market potentially going. Again, I'm still bearish, right? Nothing has changed in that regard. I still do think that the market has more downside ahead, but I also think that there's a lot of shorts trapped in this whole region right here. And if the market pushes up over the weekend, I would not be surprised. Okay. But yeah, that's pretty much it, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Cheers and good luck in the market.